British retailers are flooding the US fashion market. Primark, Superdry, All Saints, and other top British brands are opening US stores. But that love of fashion from across the pond appears to be one-sided. The United Kingdom has proven to be a very tough market for American fashion companies to crack.
The UK is a really difficult market. In general, US retailers do struggle with it.
American Eagle Outfitters is one of many US companies that have tried and failed to break into the UK. Despite being one of the most popular stores among US teenagers, the retailer exited the UK market in 2017 amid intense competition. The teen and young adult retailer opened 2 stores in London and 1 in Kent in 2014. Those stores didn't last long. They were closed just 3 years later. In a call with analysts, American Eagle said its business in Europe was loss-making. American Eagle isn't alone. Forever 21, J.Crew, and Banana Republic have also struggled to make it in the UK. Retail experts say a big part of the problem is that American retailers don't do enough to tailor their offerings to UK consumers. The market in the UK is already overcrowded, and US retailers' products are often too expensive. Despite its failed attempt to win over the UK, American Eagle said it's trying again. The company is licensing its brand in 7 European countries, including the UK. American Eagle's strategy will be different this time. But the big question now, will the brand actually resonate this time around? American Eagle started in Michigan in 1977 with a focus on selling men's outdoor sports apparel. The company grew quickly, and by 1989, there were 137 American Eagle stores in 36 states. By the late 90s, the company had started to focus on women's apparel, which had higher margins. It also started targeting shoppers between the ages of 16 and 34. In fiscal year 1999, sales at American Eagle topped $1 billion for the first time. The teen retailer opened stores in Canada starting in 2001 and moved beyond North America in 2010, with a 9,400 square foot store in Dubai. Licensed stores soon followed in Kuwait City, Japan, Mexico, and the Philippines. As of November 2019, the company has more than 1,000 stores in the US, Canada, Mexico, and Hong Kong, and licensing relationships in 24 countries. Although it's worth noting that American Eagle ended its partnership in Japan in December 2019, closing all of its stores there. Part of American Eagle's early success was attributed to its narrow focus on teen fashion. Early competitors like The Gap tried to appeal to a wide group of consumers of varying age groups and tastes, while American Eagle aimed to be the coolest brand for young adults. Teens consistently rank American Eagle as a top 5 clothing brand, according to a Piper Jaffray survey. But there were some downsides to focusing on younger consumers. Teen fashion taste changes quickly, and competition in the lucrative teen market was heating up when American Eagle came onto the scene. Some of its biggest competitors were Abercrombie & Fitch, Aeropostale, and PacSun. In 2018, American Eagle Outfitters ranked number 9 in the footwear and apparel category, far above competitors Aeropostale and Abercrombie & Fitch. But American Eagle found one major way to stand out against the competition: intimate wear. Its intimates brand, Aerie, launched nationwide in 2006. The brand features models in a variety of sizes, and it stopped retouching models in advertising campaigns in 2014. Aerie not only helped American Eagle distinguish itself from its rivals, it's also been a source of tremendous growth. Aerie has had 20 consecutive quarters of double-digit same-store sales growth as of November 2019.
Their sub-brand Aerie, which actually isn't a sub-brand, it's really a brand in and of itself, in its own right, which is very differentiated to the other kind of intimate apparel brands or products that their customer, in the young adult, teen and young adult and millennial market, might be attracted to, whether it's Pink or Victoria's Secret. Aerie has really gotten to its own strength and stature with a high degree of differentiation and great content and great marketing behind it.
There are standalone Aerie stores as well as dual American Eagle Aerie stores, and there's a close to even split between the two. There are 142 standalone Aerie stores and 170 dual stores operated by the company worldwide. Aerie made up 16% of American Eagle Outfitters' net revenue in fiscal year 2018, a more than 45% increase from 2 years earlier. That's why Aerie is key to AE's expansion. The stores in London had a space dedicated to selling Aerie. American Eagle didn't respond to CNBC's request for comment. In a 2014 press release, the company said the Aerie brand would help it find traction in the UK. We see tremendous global appetite for both the American Eagle Outfitters and Aerie brands, and believe that our presence in 3 of the most popular shopping destinations in England will provide great exposure for us in this significant new market. But the expansion did not go according to plan for American Eagle. While the US and UK may have a common language and shared history, that's not enough to guarantee success when an American retailer opens shop in the UK.
You can't just set up shop in another country as if it's your own and do exactly the same thing you would back at home. You have to get to know a new customer. Even between an American customer and a UK customer, there will be differences and the market will be different.
In a competitive market like the UK, American Eagle would have needed to offer a unique product to stand out. But analysts say nothing American Eagle offered was all that different than what the competition was doing. And when American Eagle did make attempts to stand apart from its rivals, the brand's efforts largely flopped. Just take denim. American Eagle's emphasis on fit and wash has helped the brand succeed in the US. But that didn't work in the UK.
They really made a big deal out of denim, and there's so much of that already. And that's not going to be enough to make you stand out or to make people really, sit up and notice you.
American Eagle opened its stores in shopping malls in London and Kent. Competition in shopping centers is really high, especially when your products don't stand out. American Eagle had to contend with popular fashion retailers like Topshop, Primark, George, and Next at a time when foot traffic in malls was dropping. The high rent at shopping malls is another hurdle to profitability too. American brands tend to focus on London flagship locations, which have pricey rents despite the fact that London shoppers don't spend more than other UK consumers, according to Cantor World Panel.
There's so much competition just in those huge centres. So a better way of doing it would maybe to start off small, maybe have a concession within a certain department store or a smaller shop on one of the high streets or one of the shopping streets. Might have been a better way of doing it.
The other big problem was that the styles American Eagle offered were available elsewhere for much less. A lot of US fashion brands that come to the UK, like J. Crew and Abercrombie & Fitch, have high price points compared to their UK competitors. Analysts say American Eagle's UK prices were expensive for the younger demographic they wanted to reach. American Eagle's target consumers are a digitally native generation, so nailing online shopping is essential to the brand. But when it entered the UK, other British fashion chains were already way ahead of the American retailer on the e-commerce front. British fast fashion retailers like Boohoo, which sells online-only trendy clothes geared towards teens and young adults, are growing fast. Boohoo owns Pretty Little Thing and Nasty Gal, and the company reported 2019 fiscal year revenue of more than $1.1 billion. Online British fashion retailer ASOS held more than 7% of the market share in the UK as of August 2018, and reported global revenue of more than $3.3 billion in fiscal year 2019. The success of these e-retailers mean that British consumers have high expectations for fast, cheap delivery. That means all companies need some form of online shopping to survive in the UK, which is the biggest e-commerce market in Europe and the 3rd largest globally. The UK is a perfect market for fast delivery. Because of its small physical size and a high population density, shipping times are really short. Even the biggest British fashion brands have struggled to keep up with online stores. And it's not just the speed of delivery that's to blame. British tax law also tends to favor online-only retailers. Under the business rates tax system, companies are taxed based on the buildings they occupy. That means digital retailers typically pay less tax.
We had a backdrop of almost the perfect storm whereby consumer confidence has dropped, the value of the pound has dropped, so retailers' profitability is impacted considerably, and the taxation unlevel playing field between online and offline retail meant that online retailers could sell less, more profitably than their competition in the high street and physical presence.
But the future of e-commerce is uncertain in the UK as the country grapples with Brexit. The UK voted to leave the European Union in 2016. Brexit hit the retail industry hard. Some of Britain's largest department stores, like Marks & Spencer and Debenhams, announced store closures and low foot traffic. American Eagle's timing couldn't have been worse. 2 years after opening the UK American Eagle stores, consumer confidence in the UK tanked, meaning that consumers felt uncertain about the future and spent less. The pound fell too, which increased import costs for UK businesses. And across the board, UK consumers had less spending power than before. By 2017, the year American Eagle exited the UK, the environment for British retail was the worst it had been in almost 10 years.
This has been the worst 18 to 24 months seen in the retail sector in the UK since the financial crisis in 2008-9.
Analysts say British consumers were less inclined to spend money on non-essentials like fashion in the wake of political and economic uncertainty. Finding ways to spend less even became cool, which wasn't good for American Eagle, which was considered more of a premium brand.
It became rather fashionable to buy low-price merchandise. Once upon a time, a retailer like Primark was not seen as particularly a desirable place to shop with, but after the financial crisis, it became almost fashionable to be thrifty and to spend less and get more.
After 3 years and 3 stores in the UK, American Eagle exited the market. American Eagle doesn't break out international stores in its financial results, so it's unclear exactly how the stores performed financially. Analysts credit American Eagle for closing stores that weren't working early instead of waiting it out. But one thing that is certain, American Eagle's offerings didn't stand apart in a highly competitive fashion market. Despite its past failure in the UK, American Eagle wants to try again to win over the British. The company is opening up shops in the UK and 6 other countries in Europe over a 3-year period.
They are going to essentially license their brand to others. They'll provide the product, do the sourcing, do the design, but let the others take the approach and the effort to open stores, manage the stores, run the stores.
Licensing its brand is a more hands-off and lower risk approach to international expansion. But where there's less risk, there is also less potential for reward. There are some downfalls to licensing the brand versus owning it yourself.
If it is more profitable, they would only get a portion of that. Also, sometimes you don't have as good a control over your brand in terms of presentation, merchandising, marketing. It really depends on the agreement, though, that you have with the licensee, I think.
But this method of expansion does open the possibility that American Eagle can take over the businesses later on.
If the licensee is very successful in growing the brand and making it a profitable business, typically, Eagle would have the opportunity to kind of take that back in-house at some point.
This time around, the company is also building out an e-commerce site to serve the entire European Union. As of January 2020, American Eagle had 1 site for the US and 1 site for the rest of the world, without prices in local currency. Through the partnership, American Eagle will also open brick-and-mortar stores in 7 countries: Germany, Switzerland, Austria, the Czech Republic, the UK, Ireland, and the Netherlands. Analysts say e-commerce has already indicated there's interest from European shoppers.
They've got a very strong brand, well known overseas. They can see this from their e-commerce platform, which is also international, knows no borders. They can see when they're getting strong international sales coming in from places like Europe that there is a strong brand for the product.
But so far, international expansion appears to be moving slower than anticipated. In February 2019, American Eagle said it would open stores in Ireland during the summer of 2019. As of January 2020, it still hasn't opened European locations under the partnership, at least according to its global store locator. The company hasn't addressed what's behind the holdup. Can American Eagle outfitters pull off European expansion this time?